I'm gonna do a video about another topic, but this is a topic that's been on my mind because it's a topic that's been more of the predicament that I'm in with wanting to be sober, but also wanting to be intoxicated because when I'm sober, I feel like all like shit. And I feel like sobriety teaches you a lot about yourself. When I went those like almost the 2 months without smoking weed, I sat there and I was realizing a lot about myself. And one thing that I realized was that everything I'm feeling, I don't want to feel it. Pass that spliff to me, honestly. But that's what it does. I feel like sobriety, it like, you have to learn to be dependent on yourself for what it is you're looking for and that feeling you're looking for. Because when you don't have drugs to make you feel like you're happier or like take you to another mindset where you're more content with who you are, just like in general, when you're sober, you kind of have to find that by yourself, and it is low key difficult. That's why even me, it's like I don't like having to feel like I have to rely on drugs or like weed, alcohol, like to be precise, for like what it is that I'm looking for, because it's like the thing is like it wears off. I just want a high that's forever, a high that I don't have to like it lingers off and then I have to get another fill to like feel it again. I just want like to be happy and to continuously be happy. I don't want to have to take a supplement to supplement what it is that I'm lacking, which is happiness, which is the dopamine in my fucking brain. So it's like when I'm sober, I just kind of sit there with myself and I kind of go through the list of all my problems and realize, well, you kind of suck. And I don't care to say that to myself. That's because that's who I am. I beat myself up to try to become better. But when I sit there truly, I'm just thinking about everything I'm doing. And one thing that's a problem with me is like, people have shown me that I was never enough. So that's also how I kind of feel with myself. So when I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, like you're doing this, you could do this. It's like, oh, if I did like a workout, like, oh, you did 10 push-ups, like you're a piece of shit. Like you only did 10. You could have did 15, you could have did 20, but the thing is when I'm at 20, I'm going to be telling myself what I was telling myself when I was at 10. So it's like there's no amount of enough that I will ever be or get to. That's why it's like being sober for a long time, and this is what it is to have to deal with. It's like, do I just let the war play out in my head, or do I simply go smoke and let that be the headphones to what's going on and just kind of silence everything out? And that's why I don't know, because again, I know smoking is bad for me. Why? Because there's already not so much life in me, and I find smoking tends to suck up the little bit that is left, which kind of brings me to the point of feeling like I have zero energy and nothing left inside of me. But I just keep telling myself, well, at least like I'm feeling something other than just bad all the time. But the thing is, smoking, it's became less of what it is now. I still fight with my thoughts. That's one thing that's both like a high thing and a sober thing, is that I fight with myself a lot. But what being high does is sometimes like it will kind of like I'm thinking like more of in an enhanced way when I'm high. So I'll be thinking about so much so that like when I start thinking bad about myself, the thought will kind of like just disappear because I'll end up like thinking about something else, and then like I'll forget what I was just thinking about. So it kind of like kills it for a second until it does come back to the surface. Then well, it's back there and I remember again. But that's why it's like I don't know what to do. I don't know, like the drug I'm looking for, it is a person. I don't know if I can find that person, or I don't know if I could find it within me to just like give it to myself, or do I really have myself convinced that what it is I'm looking for doesn't exist within me and it is something that I need from someone else. But I just think a lot, and sometimes when you think too much, you think too far to the point where you miss the things that are quite close to you. But you know I just think about everything. That's the thing. And it's like I have so much answers. It's like, where do I start from here? And I just move and I move and I move. And I just feel like every step I take, it has to be calculated because, like, I don't want to afford, like, I don't feel like I could afford any more setbacks in life. So I just have to, like, move in a way that I'm content with, and I guess you could say make sense to the world and myself, and just be okay with not being okay. But does weed bring that to me? Not really. But again, it just brings me something else. But being sober, it's like I don't know if I'm ready to face myself, but I told myself that I should be able to. But like now that I'm here and I sit there with myself, I ask like, can I do this? Can can I like deal with everything that's going on? Like it just feels like it's so much for one person, but there's many other people out there who are doing it on their own too. But me, it's just that like I just feel powerless. Like you look at me and then you tell me like lift a thousand freaking a boulder that weighs 1,000 pounds, and I'm just like, you want me to do that? Like it just feels like such a task. But then when I'm high, sometimes I feel like, oh, like I could do that and more. So like I just like it really is just like a warfare going on within me, and it's like I'm kind of using myself as like a drug mule, testing different things and different ways to do things that might bring me to the feeling that I'm looking for. But weed was crossed off before, but I tried it again to think like I can do it in a different way that makes sense, but it's still once more crossed off. And alcohol will always be alcohol, will always be crossed off, because I couldn't sacrifice my liver for temporary pleasure that I could most likely go find out there in the real world without having to, like, it cost me something. Like, if it's gonna cost me my time, that's one thing, but to cost me parts of my life, that's another. So honestly, being sober, it is for the better, because again, like, you're not harming your body, you're taking care of yourself. But then just being intoxicated, it's like for the one time, like, I actually feel calm. Like I could just sit down, just let time pass over me without everything falling over me, and just like be somewhat content. But it's like, what would you do? What's your answer? Like, do you believe like rely on drugs until like the day I die, or the day I find the happiness that I look for, if I find it? Or do you think it's a better idea to just like continuously like just intoxicate myself, like keep giving myself that feeling that lacks, like wake up high when it starts running out, again, no breaks, so there's no time to get back to myself? But then it's like, what, when I'm sober, would I even remember this person? Like, would I have to relearn that version of myself again that I've so long neglected? That's why, you see what I mean? It's like everything I question, like I don't know. Like I don't know anymore. That's why right now, like, I just let time fly, and I just again move with the wind, because I can't be in one place, because like I will truly get lost. But then when it comes to moving, it's like, you see, like, this is my brain all the time, guys. I know you might think like, oh, I'm talking a lot, I jump to place. This is what it feels like to be me. This is why it's so hard to like stick within lines. It's so difficult for me to write poetry sometimes, because when I want to talk about something with everything going on, I think about, where do I start? What parts are more important than the other parts? Like, where do I start? Like, that's always the most hard part. And then it's like, where do I end? Because you see the same thing with videos. Like, I could talk and talk and talk. So when I start writing, it's like I will write and write and write and write and write, because I never said enough. I don't feel like the sentence is ever complete. I don't feel like my point is ever truly got. Even every time I finish YouTube videos, I sit there and I'm like, oh, you could have said this, you could have said that. Like, nothing is enough for me. Like, nothing is enough for me. And my brain is just like fueled of thoughts to keep going and do this, do this, do this. And it just feels like I'm so overwhelmed and just like so full of thoughts, but lacking of life. And it's like, can we like switch it a little bit? Like, I'd rather be like Tweety Bird, like a zombie all day long, rather than like just in my head like this. Like, just take away the thoughts. Let me be a zombie. I'll be fine. It's Halloween anyways. I will be a zombie. If I just have to think about rains all day long, I will do. That's my message for today. Should I go smoke some weed?